Hey, it's Cliff from the OK Photographer, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm staying in the Nikon ecosystem in 2020. And if you already have a full-frame Nikon DSLR, you should probably keep it. But if you don't and are kind of looking at that full-frame, like, enthusiast, prosumer camera, why it might not be wise to buy into the Nikon DSLR or F-mount ecosystem in 2020. First, let me go through a few things as to why I'm keeping mine. Still in really good condition. I bought this particular camera in mid-2019. It's pretty low on actuations, around 20,000, so it's got plenty of life left in it. Secondly, it still does everything I needed to do, whether that be portraits, landscapes, sports, here and there. So all in all, it still does everything I needed to creatively, and from a quality perspective, if I do any sort of client work, then it's a-okay there as well. That being said, it's a camera. It's got pretty good autofocus. That being said, it's 51 points kind of stacked in the center, so you won't get that full sensor phase detector, contrast detection, autofocus like you would in mirrorless cameras. It's got plenty of resolution, 24 megapixels. It's basically good enough to do anything on social media or any electronic media in decent sized prints. The burst rate, so frames per second, 6.5, which is fine. Honestly, unless you're doing like special use cases like auto sport or like really technical sports photography, then kind of that 7 range is enough. The only pitfall of this camera is obviously the buffer. So if you're in any situation where you need kind of a lot of photos at once, you're kind of run into issues. Also, it's a DSLR, so the battery life is pretty good, twice as much as most mirrorless cameras nowadays. Of course, you can slap on a grip and make it longer, but honestly, one battery's pretty good for a full day of shooting for me. Another reason I'm staying in the ecosystem is the lenses. So you get access to all of the modern first and third party lenses, as well as all of the vintage F-mount stuff. So I've got third party and first party lenses here of the AFD variety. So this is kind of like the older style, and then the newer style of autofocus and aperture control for Nikon. Would I rather have a full-frame mirrorless setup? Yes. Why I don't at the moment is the money. Even if I traded in all this stuff, it would probably only pay for the body and maybe a lens or so. So all that being said, if you have $1,000 to throw around on a new camera setup, your money is going to go a lot further in terms of building an ecosystem in terms of lenses that your camera body can grow into. So for the D750 in particular, the new price is $1,500. On the used market, it's $1,000. For that kind of money, you might as well go EOS RP. On the Canon side, you could get into the Nikon Z5 and go that route, or you could probably find an A7 III on the used market. So if you're kind of around that $1,000 price point and you're really kind of hesitant of going above it, you might as well just save a little bit more and go for something a whole lot newer. You're going to be really happy with the like creature comforts and the lenses as well. Another thing is, do you need full frame? Probably not. Going Fuji or Sony APS-C isn't a bad option at all. In most cases, it'll cover all of your needs. No matter what though, do your research, buy what's in your budget, and fills all your needs, and honestly has an upgrade path. And that's kind of the most important thing for newer photographers, or just kind of buying new gear in general. But if that's the D750 or the F-mount ecosystem, honestly, go for it. So now I'm going to talk about why I'm keeping all of my F-mount glass as well as the Nikon D750 right here. And honestly has nothing to do with this camera and everything to do with the Nikon F5. So I've been shooting quite a bit of film these days, and even if I wanted to kind of go a different route on the digital side of things, I would still be keeping all of this for the F5. So selling the D750 wouldn't make all that much financial sense. I'll be making videos on the F5 and all of the lenses as well. You'll probably see some stuff from the D750 too. And of course, I'll keep you updated on all of my gear and such in the future. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.